Welcome everybody to the After Dark Show. I'm Don Rogers. I'm really excited to have tonight's guest on. Her name is Emily Moyer, and I first saw her on BG Cast, and her and Steven had one of those conversations that just had me on the edge of my seat. And so much of what she was talking about really resonated in what you guys have heard me talk about and the things I've been discovering over the last year and a half. And so much of her information coincides and really complements everything I've been looking into. And I'm just really excited to talk to her. So I'm going to bring her on stage right now and I'm just really excited to talk to her. So I'm going to bring her on stage right now, and there's feedback. Really excited to talk to her. So
Somehow we have feedback.
bring her on stage right now, and
I don't think it's on my
there's
end.
feedback. What do I got going on here? Hold on.
I don't think it's on my end.
Hold on. This is crazy. Hold on. This is I don't know what the hell is going on tonight. This oh, hold on a sec.
No worries.
Yeah, like 12 people watching me fall on my face. Hi guys.
No worries, dude.
Oh, this is par for the course actually. Yeah. Par for the course actually. Okay, did it stop? Par for the course actually. Okay, did it stop?
No, it's
Oh
still
my god. All right. I'm gonna pop out and come back, so just stay there.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna pop out and come back, so just stay there.
Okay.
I'm gonna pop out and come back, so just stay there.
Okay.
Okay, are we still echoing?
We are.
All right, I'm gonna switch cameras then.
Okay.
Are we still echoing?
We are.
All right, I'm gonna switch cameras. This is so crazy.
All right, let me leave and see if somehow it's on my end.
Yeah.
All right.
This is so crazy. Oh my god. 16 people, and I am having the funniest freaking show. Yeah, it's on, Aurora says it's on her end. So, this is going to be a very good show once everything starts going the way it's supposed to be. And I appreciate your guys' patience. So, yeah. Or as Spin just said in the kitchen, it's the fucking, and it happens almost every show. Like when I had Michael Cameron on, my whole laptop, like the one that's right beside me that I no longer use, froze, and I was never able to use it for a podcast again. Like the whole screen just froze up, and it was done. Oh, Aurora's loving the fucking.
I got it.
Okay, we are rocking.
So I think what happened. Oh, we still have a little. What's happening? Okay. I was right.
Yeah. Okay, back to the fucking. Emily still has an echo. Thank you. And thank you everybody for coming. I know most of you are likely Emily's people. There's a few of mine already. Aurora, always awesome to see you. And if you guys haven't watched the conversation we had, holy shit, go watch it. Because it was awesome. And she's actually coming back in a month. I got it in my phone somewhere. But yeah, so we're gonna break the internet when we talk to Aurora, so there's always that. You know. And we're going to talk about fairies and that kind of fun stuff. Don't you just hate that, Emily? Yeah. Aurora. Boom, yeah, the conversation. Let's break this shit. Yes. Oh, dear. I just had some. Thank you very much. Uh, I have some very interesting material, and not all of it is a complete shit show like this. So you're definitely. I think I'm on 70 total episodes now, somewhere like that. So yeah. Okay, she is back, and we're gonna do it.
Are we doing it?
I think we're. I think we're good.
All right.
The fucking is over.
No, there's still an echo.
Oh shit! Can you mute your playback? I don't know.
My play, I don't have the playback on anymore. That's what it was before. I've looked at every window to see what's happening. And yeah, I'm not in YouTube or anything else. I've never used Chrome before, so I don't know if it's because something's there.
If you want to go back to your original browser, we'll try that again, and because now you've got your mic working.
My mic, I didn't do my mic. Changed when I went to the browser. I'll try again.
Yeah. Oh dear. The fucking continues. I don't even think I'm going to edit this part out of the audio because it just makes it one of my interviews. You know, it really is. It's just the way shit goes with me sometimes. Like, I've had complete freeze ups on camera. I've had complete mind gaps on camera. And I'll ask everybody in the audience, do you guys ever get that where you're like right in the middle of the thought? You can even be talking and you'll just blank out. Or like, is that some MK Ultra shit, or like
too much weed,
or too much weed? You know.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
We still have that though.
Shit.
I've never had this happen before.
I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna switch back to old school. I'm gonna pop off the laptop.
Okay.
And I will go to my phone. Maybe it's mine. I don't know.
If it was mine, I should have still been hearing you.
Yeah.
Even when I was off.
Yeah. So, Enter Studio. Okay.
Let's see. Yay!
All right. You guys are going to have to look at my weird curtains and shit, but just give me a minute. We'll get this shit figured out yet. All right. So there is already 22 people here, and we're live.
That was the smoothest entrance I've ever had into a show, so this is going to be an awesome show.
Oh, yeah. This is going great.
Nice to meet you, Don.
Very nice to meet you too, Emily. So like I was saying, I first got to see you, and I actually commented a couple of times when you were on Steven's show, and you covered a lot of really cool information. But I'm going to do what most guys do and ask you for, like, what was the moment, the catalyst, the point where you realized, something's not quite the way we're told it is, something's not quite right in this reality?
Well, like I've had many of them, throughout the course of my life, and each one was like an initiation to the next layer of the mystery. But I'd say probably like super young, right? Like probably like 2 or 3, maybe, right? And then maybe again like 5, 6 or 7. I definitely was always the kid who felt like there was what like you thought was going on, and that there was what was really going on, and they weren't the same, right? I always felt like my parents were like aware of some reality that I was sort of participating in, but that they weren't telling me about. And I don't know if that is true or not, right? I don't know that like I don't know how aware of sort of behind the curtain activities my parents actually were, but I remember as a child feeling like my parents were telling me lies. And I'm not saying that they were, right? But that there was something that they were leaving out. And so but for me, like, I was not raised in a religious or a spiritual household. So there was never any conversation about like God or anything like that. And so I didn't have like this metaphysical sense of the world in the way that like a child raised with religion might have. So for me, anything that felt like it was going on outside of my ability to see it fell under the sort of idea of like conspiracy or sort of machinations that other people were doing, not against me but without my knowledge. And as I got older and I understood that, like, oh, like, you cannot be religious and there can still be like on some level an invisible realm or some sort of metaphysics that is happening outside of your normal visual field, and that maybe that's what I was sensing. Um, and then, I struggled growing up. I was weird. I was a gymnast. The kids I went to school with didn't really understand that. I didn't do the social things. And, I always liked more adult stuff. And, oh, I think we lost Dawn. Uh, I'll just keep talking, I guess. I always liked more adult stuff, and so that separated me from the other kids. Dawn is back, or it looks like he is. There you are.
Sorry about that. I got booted out of my own show again. That was crazy.
No, I was just saying, like, I was weird. I liked more like adult things than the other kids did. So there was always like a separation between myself and like the other children on some level. And so I had an active sort of internal, mental, and an imaginary world. And then I think, I had not a very like successful attempt at going away to college. And that led me into, even though I had always been like a good girl on some level, that led me into drug use. And I started to recognize that there was like other stuff. And then I had just a really strange year and then like in the late 90s I started going to raves, and that was like a whole other layer of the cake. And then the big one though that sort of led me to the space that is why I'm here talking with you tonight, is that in 2005, I sort of had a bunch of things happen simultaneously, including my stepbrother dying in a sort of unexpected and tragic way while I was taking a class at school. I had gone back to school, and the class at school was called the Sociology of Drug Use, and it introduced me to the work of Gary Webb and the Dark Alliance and the whole Iran-Contra crack cocaine thing. And that was where I learned about like the government creates the problem so it can have the solution and all of that kind of stuff. And I was also, the term MK Ultra was brought to my awareness, which triggered all sorts of things that don't seem like they would be normal if, like, I've never had that response to anything else that was sort of taught to me in a class. And that began my dig. And I have been digging and digging and digging ever since. And I've been down most rabbit holes, spelunked from one rabbit hole to the other rabbit hole. I'm very familiar with the inner architecture of said rabbit holes, and have been doing it now for more than 20 years as a researcher. And then in 2016, I was a guest on Randy Moggin's Off Planet Radio, and then became the producer and the co-host of that show, and the rest is history. I've been blabbing my mouth on YouTube and podcasts ever since.
That is quite the interesting awakening story. And you touched on a couple of things. And one of them is the whole bringing in of the crack and stuff. There really was a movement where basically natural medicines were deemed as bad, and all of a sudden we had heroin and we had crack and like a lot of people don't realize where that actually came from.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a little extra here. So, when I was in my year of struggling to, oh no, I find myself alone again. We'll wait for him to come back because I think he wants to hear this. Hopefully, it'll be quick. Hope everyone's having a good evening. I'm sorry it's a little bumpy, a little bit of a bumpy ride tonight. Here he is. We've got the spinning white circle. And
This is I am so sorry. This is fucking ridiculous. I've never had this much interference.
I can't say that I've any time recently either. This stuff used to happen back in like 2016, 2017, but we'll roll with it. So anyway,
Yeah.
in 1995, I guess it was 1995, I was struggling to accept the end of my gymnastics career, and that college hadn't worked out for me. And I was coaching gymnastics, and sounds crazy, but like one of the parents of a girl that I coached at the gym introduced me to crack cocaine. I had never done any drugs before, and right, and I think I had tried smoking pot once, and I was like, yeah, no, this is not for me. But yeah, so she turned me on to crack cocaine, and I had a wild year of crack cocaine use. This was 10 years before I ever knew about Gary. It was before, 10 years before I ever knew about Gary Webb or any of the crack cocaine relation to Iran Contra. Of course, I'd heard of Iran Contra, but I didn't really understand what that was, right? And I'll actually say this. This is going to sound nuts, but okay. That was the first time it ever occurred to me that there was something else. I was not like a believer in Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny as a kid. Like I said, we didn't have religion in my household, but like literally, I remember this so vividly. Like the very first time I ever did crack cocaine, I felt like the songs on the radio were singing to me when I would like go out into the hallway. Like I would felt like I heard somebody call my name, right? And it was, but it wasn't in a paranoid way. It was just like my senses were heightened and I could hear every little thing. And I realized there was a lot more things there than sort of what our normal perception band, keep us aware of. And so that was shocking to me. I did not expect that was what drugs were based on the programming that we had received in, junior high school and high school and whatever it is, right? And I have to say that I was kind of fascinated with it. And that fascination. All right. Sorry, guys. Let's bring him back. I guess I could open the chat and chat with you guys while he's gone. What are we going to do, Don?
I'm going to check my settings here. Hold on.
All right.
Just give me 1 second. I think my shit's still open, and that's probably the problem. There. Because I was using my phone as my hotspot, so that might be why I kept getting booted.
Okay.
I live in the middle of Alberta, which is pretty much on the map, but fuck nowhere. So, like, when we went to get internet installed, the guy came, looked at the satellite dish, went, "Oh, I'll be right back," and we never heard from them again. They're like, "Nope, this is Hillbilly Town. We're out." Right.
So all right.
Hopefully,
so this. I didn't realize you were in Canada.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So okay. Well, then hopefully this will resolve it. So yeah. So actually, crack cocaine was my first portal to the understanding that there is more here than what we see with our normal senses. Wild, huh?
It is, and that's actually something. I have done my fair share of illicit substances myself, and it's really something that you do realize that there's heightened senses of mind in altered states. Like you can, like you were saying, you can hear things, you can sense things. And I know a lot of people call it being cracked out because it does get certain people and they'll be like peeking out the window every 16 seconds because they've smoked a rock and now they're fucked, right? But there's also exactly what you're saying. There's the auditory, there's the visual, and I do think with
Nope. Okay. I'm going to propose another solution to our friend Dawn here.
I am getting pissed.
All right. Uh do we have a backup plan? Do we want to switch over to my side? Do we want to try it again another night? I want to be talking to you, not to myself.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I don't know what to do here. I am so sorry.
No, no. Whatever you want to do is fine for me. Like it's not a problem for me. I want to do what works for you, and I want the audience to get a good show. So, um,
Yeah,
what would you like to do?
um, do you want to try and send me a link? I I don't fucking know here. This is crazy. I've never had this happen this bad before.
So I can send you a link, and we can go on my channel if you want. You want to try
Yeah,
that? Okay.
yeah.
So the guys, I'll send him a link, and then just go over to my channel on YouTube, which is Emily Moyer, just my name. There's a DNA a capsule with a DNA strand in it, and we'll be live over there in a few minutes. Okay. All
Okay.
right.
So sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on.